What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Motor Mouse Garage. And today, what I got for you, MJ, we're gonna be doing a fuel pump on the Land Cruiser. So this is not an OEM fuel pump. This is a Walbro 255, and this is for basically me prepping for a turbocharger, right? But while we're in there, we're also gonna replace the sending unit, which is right here, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe part of this video, we might be replacing the fuel pressure regulator with something a little bit more fancy, but to kick this guy off, we need to take the rear seats out. So this is my one gripe with Toyota, is their fuel pumps always require some amount of work, right? So I'm just gonna remove all these bolts in the back here, and then I'll remove the front ones. But yeah, let's get right into it because I'm running out of daylight. It's always one. All right, that's all of those. We're gonna flip these the other direction now and get the ones underneath, hopefully. Please excuse my mess here. This is my daily. Dude, these plastic covers though. There we go. I see. Okay. So these just pop off on the sides. So might want to attack them from that angle, perhaps. I think this is the first one that you can take off. There you go. Boom. I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's little plastic clips on each side. I'll do a close-up in a bit. There's one set. Man, might get in the way here. But let me show you this plastic piece, maybe. There we go. So what I'm doing to remove it, so I'll pop that top portion off first, then I'll get on one of the sides and just kind of boop, pry it off. But you can see how these guys have clips on 3 out of the 4 corners. So that's what we're aiming for. So these do have spring tension, so I'm going to release this seat really quick and just kind of band it up, and hopefully y'all can still see, maybe lean you up against there, just to release some of the spring tension off of the seat itself. There we go. Okay, so now they're ready to come out. Luckily, these aren't super heavy. Get to see what treasures await me underneath these seats. Eventually, I want to take this entire carpet out and clean this and probably replace the carpet, but for another day, perhaps. Okay, not actually too terribly disgusting under here, which is a little surprising. But there we go. So this is the panel we need to access to get access to the fuel tank, and naturally I filled up gas literally today on my way home, so we're going to be working with a full tank. hopefully I don't spill any. Some factory sealant. You can tell we haven't been in here ever, which is good. I actually prefer it this way. Let's see. So it looks like we've got some electrical connectors. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. I don't think the camera's gonna want to stay, unfortunately. But, so essentially we've got, I think this is the feed line because it uses a banjo bolt fitting, which I didn't get new crush washers for those, so I'm gonna see if the oil ones, oh, that's right, they're not copper. I might have some that I can put on here, but basically what I think I'm gonna do is hopefully clean some of this off. By the way, I'm not having issues with the fuel pump, but it's the one thing I haven't really replaced yet. So yeah, let's get to cleaning that maybe. I don't know if I have anything to clean it with really, which is unfortunate. Might have a brush. I got some brushes. They're pretty dirty, but I suppose it's better than nothing, right? So basically, all I'm really trying to do is avoid getting dirt in my fuel tank and cleaning off connectors and other connections. But I feel like this is a little bit futile. But maybe not. The wind is blowing around the camera. Makes me think it's gonna give out. Okay. So, oh wow, that was extremely easy. I think that's it for the electrical connections. And they actually look really good and untouched, so that's a welcome surprise. But, so what I was talking about earlier, I was thinking about hardwiring this fuel pump. Completely overkill for turbo on the 80 series. But it kind of just increases the reliability of the pump in general and actually ensures that the pump is putting out or getting the full 12 volts, right? Which I still might do, since it looks like I might be able to like drill these out potentially, or just remove them. That way I can just plumb the wire directly into this cover. But I'm not committed on that yet, so we're gonna not do that. Let me get some pliers and then I think an 8 mil. All right, I'm gonna take this return hose off. So there's probably still pressure in the fuel system because I just drove. Oh, look at that. It comes out nice and easy. This is probably gonna be like a 17 maybe, but let's make sure these are 8s. Looks like they are. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll zip this guy off. Maybe, there we go. So I'm just gonna put all these bolts right here. In the meantime, so I don't lose any on the ground. Going back together, we're going to be real gentle, because I'm pretty sure these bolts will snap no problem if you go too crazy on them. All right, let's get this off before we get the last two 8 mil bolts off. We'll see what that is. I'm not sure. Oh, dead money. I'm getting good at this finally. All right. Got some fuel pressure coming out. I guess that means my fuel pressure regulator isn't bad. So ideally, if you're smarter than me, what you want to do is you want to take the EFI fuse out and then crank the engine over and let it run, basically. But good news is, look how clean we're going to make the top of this thing, right? Okay. So yeah, this is just so you can drain the fuel pressure. Like I said, don't do it this way because fuel kind of gets everywhere. Like I say, do as I say, not as I do. It's not necessarily a problem to do it this way. Actually, I think I do have crush washers for fuel hose. Because I have some leftovers from when I was rebuilding the engine. So I need to track those down. But we're going to keep this banjo belt relatively clean and get as much of this stuff out of the way as we need to. We can get our last two 8 mils. Right there. And right there. And I think we should just be just about ready to get this cover off. Try to clean this the best I can. Wish I had like a brake cleaner or something, but I ran out. Okay. So I'm gonna try to break the seal on this. There we go. It was pretty easy. And then we're gonna want to try to pull straight up, I think. I don't know. I've never taken one of these apart, but we're gonna find out today. All right, we're still holding on to the gasket over here. Alrighty. Gonna watch our level sensor. Might have to turn this in a direction, maybe. It would probably help if it wasn't full, but there we go. So kind of just have to twist it a little bit until it comes out. And then we've got sending unit, little sock that's going to drain. This actually looks really, really good. And I'm very glad that it looks this good. But this is pretty much it. Then we'll have to do a little bit of soldering. Oh man, you know what? I think this will be pretty easy to hardwire a fuel pump into. Maybe. I don't know yet. Okay. So, there we go. This looks good. There's a little debris in the tank down there, but it doesn't look bad. Also, I didn't realize this had a nice little baffle in it. I'll show you guys in a second, but let's get this out of here. So let me show you guys this baffle. It's rare to find old 90s cars that have like a little baffle in here, but you can see the fuel pump sits inside of those walls, and essentially that ensures that fuel is always going to be in that area so the fuel pump can use it. Which is very interesting because, like I said, it's kind of rare for old 90s cars, especially Japanese cars, to have anything like that. Usually you have to add those later on, and then you can see the return plug over there. That's interesting. Or maybe a fuel drain. I'm not sure. But everything looks really, really, really good in here, except for some little grossness down there, which I think you guys can see. And I should clean that, but realistically, I don't want to stick my arm down there and smell like fuel the rest of the day. But all right, let's take you guys over and replace the fuel pump. Alrighty, so quick judgment. It looks like we're going to be in pretty good shape for our Walbro pump to fit here, which is awesome. We might not even have to rewire this, so we'll see. And then we've got our sending unit right here. So this part of the sending unit is actually the light indicator, and mine doesn't work, or it's always on basically. which is kind of annoying. And then here is the float. Pretty standard stuff. So let's start taking this apart. Looks like we need to get rid of these guys. Yeah, this fuel pump is the original fuel pump. No one's ever opened this before. You can tell. All right, that's an interesting one. I really need to get the JIS standard screwdrivers. There we go. Just gonna take these screws out and not lose them. So, good thing I video all my things, but so it looks like black is on the right. We've got our brown sender wire in the middle, and then our red wire on the left, looking at it from the back of the fuel pump. So that is good. All the screws seem to be the same length. Just got to be really careful because, like I said, I don't have JIS screwdrivers yet. I should probably get them since I own 2 Toyotas. I own more Toyotas than BMWs now, which is a little concerning. There we go. Get this guy out of here. And then we can work on getting this fuel pump out as well. Might have to cut this hose, but maybe not. We'll find out. Got a nice little fuel pump harness here. I really think we're not even going to have to rewire this Walbro. This is going to fit much better than I anticipated. I think this is like almost exactly the same as a Walbro. I don't know if I have another one of these, so I'm going to hold on to that and then take that guy off and replace that so we don't have any internal leaks. Let's see. Moment of truth. Oh, Lord. Oh, maybe not. No, they're a little bit wider. The contacts are a little bit wider on this. So, yeah, we'll have to repin these, or not repin these, but the kit I got comes with a new harness, so I'm not super worried about it. We're just going to have to cut and crimp. Let's take inventory of our stuff here. Got the new harness right here. We got a new sock, nice small and compact one. That's always nice. We got 2 hose clamps right here, which I don't know if I'm going to use yet. We've got some heat shrink, or these are not heat shrink butt connectors, but butt connectors. And then the most important thing is this little washer guy right here. So this is what holds the little fuel filter onto the pump. And then a new fuel rated hose. Sweet. So we're gonna have to reuse that, but no big deal. Let's get the filter on first. Oh, so this has some like solvent in it, I think. Perhaps, maybe some storage fluid. That's interesting. Yeah, it smells like solvent. I hope so. I don't remember fuel pumps having stuff in there, so I'm tempted to test this because that makes me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. We'll test it before we put everything back together, I think. Oh, also, be careful on Walbro fuel pumps because there's companies that will sell knockoffs. There's plenty of videos on how to like identify a real versus a fake one, but I just thought I would let you guys know to be cautious on where you get your fuel pump from. But Put that guy on there, and then we're gonna need this little ring, really tiny. It's hard to see. But give me 1 second to get it on here, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so here's this little metal ring on here that actually holds the filter in place. That's really important. Don't forget that. I'm just going to take a mallet and cedar all the way down here. So look like this. All right, so yeah, don't forget that. Now, let us take a look. Let's see if this fits on here. Actually does fit on here. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if these were modeled after Marlboros or vice versa. I don't know. Anyway, so we got a rubber piece that fits on there. That's good. We will have to figure out what we're going to do with the connector because it is a little bit off, which is no big deal. So basically what I'm thinking about doing is we're just going to, I think, just cut and splice into the original harness. So the ground just grounds straight to this guy right here, so we're not able to get that off because it's riveted in place, and then the power wire goes right here, which is also riveted in place. So yeah, I think our best course of action is probably just to cut it as favorably as we can. So we'll just snip here and here, and then we will crimp these on with the supplied crimps, just because I prefer crimps for inside fuel tanks. You can solder it too, I'm sure. I'm just not gonna. So basically, I really only want to cut off, well, I want to cut off a lot of this actually. So it'll give us a little bit of extra room in case we mess up. But we're gonna go like that. Strip these suckers back. Like so. And we'll do the same here. All right. Not the prettiest, but it works. So I'm going to keep roughly the same orientation since we're not really changing all that much. But let's give us some extra room on both sides, right there, and right there. And then we'll strip this guy out just a little bit, like so, and this guy as well. So what we're gonna do now, before I go crazy, let me get some heat shrink. But essentially we got our setup here like so, but you might want to also put in a hose clamp that goes around here, which I might actually do if I can have an extra one. So let me go check for that. But before we do, let's make sure our clamp works, or our, connector works that we wired up. This clamp will get out of the way. Thank you. And let's see. Hope it works. It was supplied with the kit. There we go. Okay. Good deal. So yeah, it's a little long. You could probably shorten this by a lot, but let's try to get my heat shrink over. So there's the power, and we'll do that. And then hopefully we can also do, there we go, maybe. Oh boy. All right, so let me work on getting that on, and I'll be back. Okay, so I got our fuel pump set in. I got our heat shrink shrunk, and I also found a hose clamp that will hold this fuel pump in place. Like I said, I've really only seen that necessary on like high horsepower applications or high fuel pressure applications, but figured since I was here, might as well do it, right? I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to zip tie these wires to this tube right here, and then we can put the sending unit back on and we'll be good. So let me grab a zip tie. There we go. So now, new fuel sending unit. Let me make sure you guys are on camera this time. Sorry if you guys missed any of the important stuff that you wanted to see. Okay, so it looks like that is our go-to. Grab these two super tiny screws and hopefully get it started. There we go. My gloves are starting to deteriorate due to the fuel, so it's hard to do things like this. There we go. And I don't want to go super crazy on this, just enough that we're secure. Just like that. And then just like that. Alright, so now we got to do the wiring. So it looks like brown is the sending unit. Yep. Looking like right there, like that. So we'll get that on there first, because that's what's broken on mine. Part of the reason why we're doing this. Sorry, again, off camera. But while you're putting this together, make sure you don't bend the fuel level sensor, because that would be not good. Then your fuel level wouldn't be accurate. Get each one of these started. Right there. We'll orientate them later. Orient them. Okay. Let me put this on my knee for a sec. Alright, tighten these guys down, and then I think we're ready to go back in with a new gasket. Now we're going to throw on this fuel tank gasket, part number if you need it, but we're just going to fish it through pretty much all of this stuff, like so. Get it around the fuel level sensor, the wires, the fuel pump, and there should be a specific location that this goes. So the rubber pointy bits go up, like so. Oh, I think we're 180 out. There we go. Yep. So you can pull these rubber pieces up through. That way it holds your gasket in place right here. Put some lube on them. Probably have to pull them through with some pliers real quick, like so. This way your gasket stays in place when you try to put this back in. All right, let's get her back in. All right, so we're good to go back in. So I'm gonna do a similar, well, first I'm gonna take off the old gasket from the fuel tank. Then we're gonna do a similar technique to get this sucker back in. Just gonna throw this in here, and then we need to rotate it like 180 degrees, like so. Oh, actually not 180, rotated it too far. There we go, like so. And I think just gotta line up these bolt holes. Like so. There we go. Grab a couple of these to hold them down. Just gonna use the head of the ratchet like that. Just snug them down crossways. That'll be good. So now we gotta fish around for our fuel feed line. So unfortunately, I don't have any additional crush washers, so I'm gonna commit a cardinal sin and reuse them. But at least I know if it leaks. Oh, what we should do is test to make sure this works before we go too much farther. But we got to get all this together anyway, right? Tighten this to German torque specs, Guten tight. All that good. Put the return line through here. There we go. Turn line is in. Electrical connectors in. All right, let's see if this actually starts and turns on. Start it up and see. Oh, we got fuel. There we go. Leave her run for a little while. Make sure we're still good to go. But I can feel it. I can feel the pump. That's good. I think it's a little bit louder than stock, but not really noticeable, if I'm being honest. Doesn't look like we've got any leaks. Seems to run just fine. So what we can do, we can start to button all of this back up here. Not hearing any misfires or anything crazy, so that's good. But what I did notice is that my fuel sender light is still on. So that means there's probably a problem within the harness. So that's upsetting, because that was one of the whole reasons why I did this in the first place. Makes me think there's probably just resistance somewhere, which, let's find it, guys. We're already here. I don't want to take these seats out again. We are already here. So, what do we think the sending unit is? It's probably this brown wire, if I had to guess. Let's get the multimeter out. Gonna back probe this guy, hopefully. Let's see if we've got any voltage, which we should, or maybe not. I'm not sure how that works. We do have some volts. We have 5 volts. So that means, I'm not sure what that means. Let's see, can we sneak this probe down this insulation? Okay, we don't have the best ground right there. What about here? Is this a good ground? Okay, we have 4.6 again. So we do have 5 volts coming from that. I don't know if it's supposed to be 5 or if it's supposed to be 12. But our light is definitely still on. So this is going to require a little bit more investigation, but at the very least we know that the circuit up to here maybe isn't good, but it's the same. So we've got 4.6 volts right here, and then we've got it after the connector. So that pretty much leaves us to know that it is from this connector to the instrument cluster up front. So we can close this up, and I think we can say with relative confidence that our issue is further in the car, which is a strong possibility. There's a lot of electrical, very, very minor electrical gremlins, but electrical gremlins nonetheless, which luckily is my bread and butter. So we're going to chase that down since we've already done the fuel pump, but probably save that for another day because I'm out of daylight and the fuel pump job is complete. So we've got a reliable fuel pump in there, hopefully. But yeah. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the seats back together, and then we'll be back to diagnose this electrical issue because that is bothering the crap out of me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to accept defeat. I can't find out why that light is still on, so give you some steps on how I diagnosed it, and I actually need your help. So if you have any ideas, let me know. But essentially what I did is we already tested this circuit at the actual fuel pump itself, right? So underneath the seat, but there's another connector up underneath here somewhere. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I don't know. It's here somewhere. There's a connector up underneath here next to the gas tank, the fuel tank, right? And I tested the circuit for continuity all the way to the cluster and back, and then through the sending unit and back. So I get about 9 ohms of resistance through the light, or the actual sending unit that sends that light to the dash, right? And then the dash side, basically no resistance, 0.1 ohms, right? I took it a step farther. I took the cluster back out, right? So I took the cluster out and I checked the actual membrane on the cluster, and I have continuity to the bulb, obviously, because it's on. And I'm assuming an open circuit is what turns the light off, right? So either there's a short to ground somewhere that I don't know, I can't find, or yeah, that's really it. Short to ground, I'm assuming. But yeah, so if I unplug the connector back there, the light goes off, but obviously the fuel sending unit doesn't work, and then the fuel pump doesn't work either, right? Because I think that's a fuel pump wiring too. So if I unplug it, the light will go off. So I know that the problem is probably back there, I'm assuming. Or, well, no, because that kind of completes a circuit. I don't know, guys. I'm really stumped on that one. So I managed to do absolutely nothing to fix that. But what I did do is I took out my ABS light, just because I removed my ABS fuse, because even though we fixed it a while ago, or the sensor, it still kind of just actuates randomly. And I am not 100% sure why that. It might be the rear tone rings. So I still have to do rear bearings, so I might check them out while we're there. But I don't really plan on using ABS anyway. I'm not a fan of ABS personally. I think it gets you into more trouble than out of trouble sometimes. But I digress. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I have to my knowledge, I don't have any LEDs in the cluster. They all look like OEM bulbs. I did not pull the fuel light one out though, but I don't know why you would only put one LED and it be the fuel light. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, I don't know. I'm stumped. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. But with that being said, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hope that was helpful for the fuel pump install. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't, and share the video with your friends. And that one's for you, MJ. Peace out.